For many markets, podcasting is a great way to get your message through to the audience that you want to develop. There are a number of ways ChatGPT can help you get started to build a podcast that really connects with your high-value target audience. So let's look at the prompts needed to make a podcast happen. For this example, I want to build a podcast for marketers on a subject that I know is of interest to them, and that is, how do you build a lead magnet? So I first asked ChatGPT to tell me what a lead magnet was, and I informed it that I wanted to build this podcast for the marketers. So now that I knew that ChatGPT knew what a lead magnet was and I liked its definition, I asked it to give me 5 podcast episode ideas on the subject of lead magnets for marketers. And after reviewing them, I found that the first one, The Power of Lead Magnets, Why They're Essential for Your Marketing Strategy, is a great title, and I like the content it gave me. So I wanted to develop that. So what I asked it to do was to create a podcast episode outline for The Power of Lead Magnets, Why They're Essential for Marketing Strategy. And so this is the outline that it gave me. I like the content of the outline. I like the parts that it had developed. I didn't tell it how long, so I didn't ask it. The episode will be 45 minutes long. How much time should I dedicate to each segment? And so it now has broken it down into the amount of time allotments that it would recommend I do to cover each segment effectively. So I said, who are some expert guests that would be a good fit for this episode? And it gave me names of people that I know most of them. They're very, very good. Neil Patel, I like because I use Ubersuggest and Ubersuggest Chrome in my classes at Northwestern. And so I said, let's see if we could get him. So what I asked ChatGPT to do was to generate a message asking Neil Patel to be on the show. It put in my title. It personalized it a little bit. Allowed me to put in the scheduled time and date as well as my name. So it would be something I could email to Neil to see if he was interested. Because he's very well known, I asked it to write a short bio, an introduction for Neil. So this would be something I could use to introduce him. I would want to check to make sure this was up to date because, as you know, ChatGPT was only updated through 2021. But it's a nice introduction. I then asked it to give me some segment ideas to encourage the audience to participate. So this would be a message that I could put out to ask people to send in questions that they might want to ask Neil. Also to advertise the fact that the segment's going to be on. So now what I wanted to do was to take the episode outline that was developed earlier, the introduction of Neil, as well as the segment time allotments, and said, let's pull it all together into a single script. This gives me the different bullet points that I would need to go through to hit the time allotments and to develop an effective podcast. Next, I said create an SEO optimized show notes for the episode. So what this gives me is a little bit about the episode, key takeaways that I could use to advertise the show in different social media. Then I said create a short description of this episode. So this is something I could put into my website to link to the episode and to promote it. Then I said, well, take the episode and turn it into a blog post. So this is a blog post that I could put on Facebook or LinkedIn or other places to talk about the show itself. And one of the things I could do is I could have it put in a call to action at the end saying tune in at this time and this date. I then said turn the blog post into a newsletter, and I can send that out as an email to my followers. And then I did some social posts that I could use. This is something I could put out on different social media to advertise the podcast. Now I can generate an Instagram story. The idea behind this is I could post this on Instagram 2 days before to drive people into the podcast and to promote it. And so it'd be, I can put it, as it says, relevant hashtags, and then it basically encourages people to tune in. Then I created a Twitter thread about Neil Patel, the speaker. This is something I could put out on successive days on Twitter to track people to the site. Then I created 5 tweets about the episode, and I had it add hashtags at the back to maximize my penetration into the target audience. Then I created a LinkedIn post to, again, promote the podcast. So there's a variety of things that we can do to not only build the podcast itself, but also to promote it. And whether you have a speaker or not in the podcast, you could modify this as you go. In addition, because I'm saving it out as a chat on ChatGPT, I could go back to this and build out all the rest of the episodes if I so desired. And so you can use this over and over. Once you've educated it on the subject you want to develop, you could develop multiple podcasts